Hi there, it's Moira McDonald. Thanks very much for taking time out of your day to spend it with me. Excuse me. Time to try and get on with the old junk journal. We'll have a look at. Sorry, this. Welcome to my world, right? This is where life goes. Yesterday I did a lot of die cutting, and this morning. What I did was, you remember those two little envelopes? Well, I decorated them and I did my wax thing. I can't say I enjoyed this that much. This was the first one I did, and you can tell because I only used one wax globule. Obviously you need two to make it worthwhile. I only used one, but once it was done, it was done. And I had die cut that yesterday, so I just added that with a wee bit of gauze behind it and a wee vintage stamp and some wee petals down the bottom. And this one is a Romanian stamp, a die cut leaf, and again some gauze behind it and a wee bit of lace down the bottom. And one of those wee cameos that I was showing you the other week. So we've got them made. What I also did was I caught a video. I can't remember the girl's name. I'll try and find it so I can link to it. I think she said her name was Natasha, but that's not the name. Her channel's got a name. And the other week she did a thing where she was making faux glassine bags, which was effectively the inside lining of a cereal packet, you know, that you keep your cornflakes in or whatever. When it's done, you effectively rinse it out just with water. I hung it out to dry today because it was quite sunny here. Ran it through an embossing folder so it's got a bit of a pattern and it's sewed the edges, and it's actually a really good size as luck would have it, because believe you me, I didn't measure it for that wee book we made the other day. So I'll keep the wee book in there and that will go in with this journal when it's all done. Right, so we've got our two wee envelopes which we can put to the side as well. Before I do anything else, I had wanted to try and do a wee bit of stamping in the book. I don't want to do a phenomenal amount of stamping. I really just want to kind of decorate the occasional page or just put something on each page. Well, not each page, but you know, here and there. I don't need distress ink at the moment, I don't think. I'll put it that way. That'll be one less thing for me to trip over on my desk. But anyway, if we add some of the stamping, then the pages that are left I can look at with a view to adding any kind of decoration we have. I've got quite a bit of kind of lace and the likes that I'll be adding to pages, but I'm not planning on actually sewing them in. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I really don't like sewing, you all know that, so you know, it is what it is. Right, so let's get started. This came this morning. It is a stamp from Aga Baraniak. This will be the first time I've used it. I've mentioned Aga Baraniak before. She's Polish, I believe. I thought initially she was Russian, but she's not, she's Polish. And she is a kind of mixed media artist, and she does some stamps and the likes, and bear with me. Sorry about that. When I took my son to work today, he left saying, oh, there's an Amazon coming, and I thought when the dog started barking that was it, but it wasn't. Right, I'm not sure how this is going to work because I've managed to get ink on the top of the stamp. So anyway, Aga Baraniak, mixed media artist. Oh, that's quite good. I just thought, I had a look at some of her stuff, and to be honest, the main thing I wanted was the number stamp because I really liked it, and I had seen her video, or this particular stamp had been in Marimi Small Art, Marta's channel. Not that I know Marta on a personal basis, by the way, but I thought, yeah, that's quite good. So I went on and bought it, and I waited an age. I've got a feeling that something happened at her end, Aga Baraniak's end, to hold things up, because it actually reached the stage where I had to write to her and say, I'm in an order, what's happened to it? and I got a response back saying, oh, your order has been dispatched, and I felt saying, well, you never updated it to tell me that. So the next day I get an email saying, oh, your order's been dispatched, and then the next day I receive it. So clearly somebody somewhere forgot to let me know. So that's okay, it showed up, so that's all we're really worried about, isn't it? Right, these stamps are Prima marketing stamps that I'm using just now, and again it's really just a question of I don't have a major, I don't come to this with a massive plan unless there is I've consciously decided, oh yes, this is a butterfly journal I'm making or something like that. It's not a butterfly journal, I'm just saying that because I've got a butterfly stamp in my hand. So I don't generally speaking have a clear idea of what kind of stamps I'm going to be using. I just go into the vast array of stamps that I have and get working on them. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way of fitting this, because it's actually quite big for the stamping tool. I do have a bigger one than this, but it's quite difficult to hold. So I've found myself, that way you have days when you just find yourself morally outraged by things. This has been one of those days for me. It started off, actually to be fair, this aspect of it has carried on since yesterday. I know I quite often speak about, and why not, the YouTube channel with my comments being, why do I seem to struggle to get subscribers? Clearly it's because I'm really boring, but that's beside the point. Anyway, that aside, I was having a look at my actual YouTube account, and I think the thing that was really beginning to annoy me when I looked at it yesterday was not only do my subscribers figure seems to fluctuate, not tremendously, but it fluctuates up and down. As I had a look at, you can have a look at who's subscribed, the names of your subscribers. Obviously some of your subscribers would wish to remain private, and that's fair enough, I don't have an issue with that. But where my problem was lying was, of the people I do know of, allegedly have had no subscribers in the past month, and that just struck me as a bit strange. Especially when you get comments on videos that say, hi, new subscriber here, and then you notice that you've not had any subscribers. So this put a bit of a bee in my bonnet yesterday, which carried on into today, to the point where I thought, to hang with this, I'm actually going to contact Google and say, what's the script? Because it's really annoying. Don't get me wrong, right? I receive nothing from this in terms of, I don't get remuneration. In theory, my videos are monetised, but I don't know if other folk have managed to make any money. I certainly haven't hit the magic amount. I'm not sure in terms of how much advertising minutes it's meant to be, but when you hit your magic amount, your magic amount is, oh, hold on a minute, I think that's the door again, just a second. Back again. Still not had the Amazon. There's a van across the road, and it's the name on it is Fit Pets, and I know that there's a guy across the road has a wee dog that gets taken away to doggy daycare for some reason, presumably they're out working all day. So they take the wee dog to doggy daycare, and that's whoever it is bringing it back. and that set Daisy off, which in turn sets Timmy off. So Timmy doesn't even know what he's barking at, he just knows he's barking at something. And it's such a nuisance. Anyway, right, so back to the matter in hand. So I've written to, oh, I didn't do that very well. I said a wee bit splurged. I wrote to Google this morning. I don't expect a reply. I genuinely don't, because they're terrible. Google's like, you know, falling down a rabbit hole, quite frankly. They've got enough money to effectively just disappear and not provide any sort of service. I'll go and try again, excuse me. Back. That was the Amazon this time. But I was absolutely raging. I got to the door and there was nobody there. But yeah, the guy had come up the path and went to the back door because my brother was out painting the fence. Anyway, we've got the Amazon and I'm going to shoot that dog. Hold on. Daisy! Come on! Come away from that window! Daisy! She just sits at the window and watches for folk walking by and then starts barking at everybody. You shushed! Don't you sugar at me! I wouldn't mind, but in about 5 minutes they'll all be in a coma because they'll have exhausted themselves. Right, where was I? Do you know, I can't even remember what I was saying. Aye, so anyway, I've complained to, what do you call it? I've complained to Google because I'm sick to death the up and down nature of it. Do you know what I mean? You're not telling me that there is seriously folk subscribing and unsubscribing on a daily basis. There's just absolutely no continuity whatsoever in my account, and it's got me really, really annoyed. So anyway, that aside, just ignored her because she's obviously having one of these days where she feels compelled to vocalise. What else was I going to say? Aye, and another thing that was really annoying me. There's a news story here at the moment about it's a terrible show, terrible show, a bit like Jerry Springer. Anyway, the show is called Jeremy Kyle, and it is quite similar to Jerry Springer in as far as it effectively bear baits people, and it's needless to say, it's exceptionally popular because humanity I despair of, seriously. I just don't, I don't get it, I really don't. I don't know what pleasure you get from seeing other folks' lives crumble in front of your eyes, but clearly there are a lot of people out there that seem to enjoy this. So the upshot of it all is somebody that was scheduled to be on the show has committed suicide as a result of the show itself. They've decided now that they're going to cancel the show, and I felt like saying, you know, apart from the fact that I think it's a sad day that somebody's got to die for you to decide this, it's the fact that the show has proven so far, and it's been going for something like 14 years apparently, any show that's popular on the basis of what it does, you know, just effectively winding folk up, manipulating them so that other folk can get entertainment from watching their life fall apart. I think it's appalling. I really think it's appalling. I don't understand it. I don't understand what pleasure people get from this. You know, what's wrong with you? It's honestly, it's like watching you know, the Christians being thrown to the lions. It's on a par with that, as far as I'm concerned. They might not physically be hurting these people, but the emotional damage that they do clearly is phenomenal, because this guy's talked himself. Having said that, I mean, I think anybody that decides to go on one of these shows knowing the format of the show you need to question. But then I think, again, some people just have really bad judgment. So you've got your people that watch it that got the really bad judgment, and you've got the folk that obviously want to be on it having the really bad judgment. And that's my mobile phone. Hold on a second. Sorry, it's oh, this is one of these days. Honestly, you couldn't make it up. You really couldn't. That sounds terrible, right? But that's honestly the only way to deal with her at times. She's beyond words. Honestly, Daisy, if you can't sit at the window and just look out, it wouldn't be so bad, but clearly it's like the busiest street in Scotland. The amount of folk that are obviously going by. Right, so this stamp you'll probably recognise because it's a Kaisercraft stamp, and I've had a few of these in my crafting arsenal for a while, but I don't really use them all that often. Daisy's been causing a fair bit of problems recently, and I know we scream at her and that sounds awful, right? But Daisy attacked Chip about probably 3 months back, and it was very, very difficult to have to watch and to deal with and to try and separate her, because she quite literally got her teeth sunk into Chip's back and would not let go. And my initial reaction was, "You're leaving," because I honestly thought, I've never had a dog like Daisy in my life who has caused so many problems. Daisy is exceptionally volatile. Absolutely nobody can come to the house without her going completely and utterly berserk. And I mean berserk to the point where you think she would actually bite anybody who comes in. So she has to be separated if we have anybody at the door. Thankfully don't have a lot of visitors, but the post coming really winds her up. Anybody walking past the house, and bear in mind we live in a fairly busy main road, drives her nuts. So I spoke to the Dog's Trust about her, because initially my reaction was, I can't do this anymore and I can't live like this. I'm not going to have her threatening Chip. The fight with Chip was related to food, and Timmy was involved in it, and as far as Timmy doesn't know his restrictions or limitations because he's fairly young and he just doesn't appear to be learning very quickly in that respect, and he got in Chip's face. Now Chip's 13 years old. Timmy got in Chip's face and Chip gave her a wee girl, or gave him a wee girl. The problem is Daisy misinterpreted the girl as a threat and Daisy attacked Chip. It was horrible, absolutely horrible, and I had to deal with this, and Chip was in a terrible state, shaken and clearly really traumatised. She did draw blood on the first occasion. It's happened 3 times so far. The most recent was actually just last week. There had been absolutely no bother up until this had happened. I mean, she'd been in the house a year and there had been nothing, and then out the blue she went for Chip. And like I say, Timmy was to blame, and as far as Timmy had been in her face, and she thought she was defending Timmy because the two of them are a bit close. Anyway, I spoke to Dogs Trust. Dogs Trust eventually came out and visited me, and they're going to work with me with a view to trying to rectify Daisy's behaviour. Because the bottom line is, I don't want to give up on the dog, I really don't, but she is very, very difficult to deal with, and she is just a complete and utter nightmare. Very difficult, even if you try to go out walking with her. If a man comes towards you, she assumes that man's going to attack, and she tries to attack first. So you can't pass a person, cannot pass anybody in the street. I need to cross roads every time there's anybody near us. She is very volatile when she spots another dog, and would try to attack any other dog. Now she's a wee tiny, she's only a wee Jack Russell, well she's a Jack Russell crossbreed. She tries to attack any dog she sees, which doesn't make for a pleasant walk because just about everybody's got a dog round about here. And it's awful. It's really, really traumatic, and my nerves are completely and utter. I mean, they're shot. There's no way I can dress this up. Everybody thinks, oh, all funny, all sunny, all laughing. No, it's not. It's anything but that. See this phone? Oh. Right, let's turn the volume down because I'm sick of getting disturbed. I wouldn't mind, I sit here all day and all night and that phone never makes a peep, and as soon as I put on the camera it goes like a fairground. This is why I end up getting really wound up. I mean, I've got to be probably one of the most anxious people you'll ever meet, and it's because I never get a minute of peace and quiet. I can do nothing in peace, nothing at all. If it's not a dog going bananas about something, it's somebody feeling compelled to ask a really silly question, or somebody leaving me with an instruction on how to deal with something that's their responsibility, but they're nipping out, so I've got to deal with it. Oh. I maybe shouldn't make this video today because I'm clearly not in a good mood. It's alright, I'm having that many interruptions anyway, chances are video will cut out in a minute. Right, I think we might get this a bit done. I'm not going to bother. I really need to fix that because there's way too many stamps in that. I'll use one of these wee wooden stamps. Aye, so we're working with Daisy. In theory we're going to hopefully try and rectify her, but it's not going to be an easy, this isn't going to be an easy fix. She's clearly a wee dog who has major issues. The woman is of the opinion that Timmy really hasn't helped because Timmy, the relationship is such that she is deferring to Timmy for some reason, and it's not in any way that Timmy is I mean, you couldn't call him aggressive for loving her money because he isn't, but he's quite dominant, and I don't know if it's a male-female dynamic that's the problem here, or what it is. Either way, everybody appears to be suffering in one way or another, apart from Timmy, and I don't even know if Daisy is aware that she's suffering, but she is, and I'm going off my head. Absolutely going off my head. Really needing a break. Right, anyway. This is why everything that I tackle seriously takes me so long, because there's so much involved and there's so many interruptions in my day. Right, I just want to make sure that I've got everything the right way up, because it's not unusual for me to shove in a page upside down. I haven't done an awful lot of stamping in this, but that's okay, I'm not really that fussed about it. I could maybe do something else, just for the sake of it. Because I like a bit of variety. And I know I could easily do a bit of stenciling, because stenciling in itself doesn't take up a lot of time or room, but sometimes I do really like what do you call it? Sorry, I'm just looking through my stamps here. I really like this wee sun stamp. Okay, you eat it. Aye, so we're trying to resolve Daisy, but it's not easy. She genuinely doesn't make it easy. So the woman thinks that she's maybe came from an environment where she's been an only dog and quite probably living with one woman, because her relationship with me is pretty intense. She tends to, if I'm not in, Daisy literally sits in my chair and doesn't move. Doesn't sit at the window or anything like that, doesn't bark at anything, just sits in the chair. But if I'm in, she's going bananas. So we assume that in some fashion in her head she feels that she's got to try and protect me, albeit that I'm not at any threat. And it really is quite unfortunate and quite sad to be part of it, because she doesn't deserve a life like that at all. She's just a wee soul, wee dog that needed a bit of loving and a bit of care, and she's come into a house where she's getting tons of love and care, but the problem is there are all these external issues for her. So much noise here between neighbours and people walking by, and it just drives her nuts, absolute nuts. So, you know, I'll hopefully fix her eventually, but I just doing my best. It's all you can do. Right, now I'm just going to sew this in now, and then we can start on shoving pages in. So we'll hold it into place. Because it's not a very long book, it's not going to require... Hold on, I need to go into my drawer. I should have thought this one out. I'm going to move my camera. I need to find my all. There it is. I'm going to give it my all. Right, I'm going to sew in the signature thing, and once we've done that, it makes it so much easier to start on things like adding little embellishments, a bit of decoration to the page. I don't see me getting it all done today because my husband will inevitably walk in about 5 or 10 minutes and wrestle hundreds of bags, because the texts were all from you know, I've nipped into Sainsbury's, the supermarket. Do you want anything? To which my response was, yes, yes I do. I want as much alcohol as you can bring me, because I'm at the end of my tether today. To which he responded, what, really? Aye! Honestly. Right, now, ordinarily, if it was a bigger book in particular, I would measure everything out before I started digging holes in it, but given that it's not the world's biggest book, what I'm going to do, in fact I think I'll use this. I'll see if this helps. I've got an old book here that I had planned. I had planned at some point in using this for gutting and using, because I bought a lot of what do you call them, books? What do you call those books? Reader's Digest. I bought a lot of Reader's Digest at one point because I thought I was going to, you know, gut them all and decorate them. And needless to say, I'll have seen something else and put that on the back burner. And if it goes on the back burner, well, there's very little chance of me ever doing it. So it's been lying on my desk for quite a wee while, and I've not done it yet. I mean, I will eventually, it's just not today. Moira, not today. McDonald, not today, because I'm too busy doing something else that I've started on our scene. Right, that's my holes put in place. I must admit, sewing signatures is one of my least favourite things to do when it comes to junk journals. I don't enjoy it. I find it quite difficult. I'm thinking I'll maybe just break the tradition here and put the signature, the threads on the outside. Sorry, you probably can't see this. There we go. This might be why I had a sore handy. So in and out. Oh, where's my trusty pliers? Wait a second. Oh. I have actually altered how I do this. I had been following a tutorial that Yvonne Preston put up. I think she put it up probably about maybe 2 years ago or a year ago or something like that, which was really, really good for, you know, telling you how to basically make a junk journal. And she's much better at it than I am. Maybe she doesn't get interrupted as much as me. No, she's really, really good, Yvonne. And I had been following the way she did it. I saw somebody else who did it just slightly differently, and I thought, I'll give that a go, and I did, and I quite liked that as well, so I tend to do that now as well. So I flip between Yvonne's way of sewing in the signature and the other way I sew. I don't know who did the other video, I can't remember now. Again, one of the main problems is I watch so many, I seriously do watch. I watch videos when I go to my bed at night, and I watch them when I get up in the morning, and I watch them on TV. Because of that, I tend not to be able to comment, and because I can't comment, I never remember anybody's name. Because you can't really comment on TV. Well, I think you can comment on TV, but it's more hassle than it's worth trying to work out how to do it. So I don't bother. That'll do this. I really hope I put this in the right way round. Because see, if I haven't, I'm going to just scream, throw it across the room and shout, go make your own journal, I'm not doing it. Right, that's us. We'll put the needle away. Needle in the needle place. Put it in the drawer. Where's the awl? Put the awl in the awl drawer, which is also the just about everything else drawer. Put pliers away. Move the wee clips out the road. And have a look at it, and it looks okay to me. Yes, it does. It looks okay to me. Hopefully all the pages have the right way up, because if they're not, I don't think I can cope. Right, I think we're okay. I added these wee bits of lace to the edge of it because I thought when this book gets wider or bigger, the pages are going to end up sticking out of the cover. So I put the wee bits of lace on the cover to take away from that. Right, we'll stick in a couple of wee bits and bobs. Hold on to move that inside. We'll put in a couple of wee bits and bobs, and that will be us. This is a wee bit of I'm not sure what it was. I don't know if it was. I've got to assume it was a doily of some description, because it's way too small to have been a napkin. It's like, well, that's how it goes. It was really attractive. I picked it up. Where did I get it? I got a set of 4, and I think I was going to say I think I got it at a car boot sale, and I think I might have got it at a car boot sale, which is quite unusual for me, because I don't go to a lot of car boot sales, only because there actually is only one here, and it's in a field. The only time it's really worth trying to go is if the weather's quite good, because if there's any horrible weather at all, it's just horrific. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you're knee deep in mud, and it really doesn't. It just doesn't bear thinking about. So, oh, and don't you just love the way the fabric comes right through, don't you? I got that at the car boot sale. I think that's where it came from. We don't go very often. I really don't like it. Every time we go, we seem to end up with a flat tyre as well. Right, see this? I want to show you this. I caught a Tiffany Solorio video the other day. I really like Tiffany. Again, Tiffany Solorio is a mixed media type artist who makes cards as well. And she did something using Prima Georgia Blues paper pad, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I thought to myself, I really like that paper. And despite the fact that I've got way too much paper, I need more paper. And I looked to try and get it, and I couldn't find the actual pad anywhere. I don't know when it was. You know, obviously these things in America are much more popular, so they're probably much more readily available, but I couldn't get my hands on this for love nor money. But I found the 4x6 journaling cards, and I thought I'll just buy them because I'll be able to adapt them in some way, so that's what I did. Excuse me. This is one of the journaling cards that I used a Tim Holtz Sizzix frame die on, and when I cut it out, the bits that were on the other side of it, kind of like that, I thought that's going to waste because it's still quite useful, so I cut them off and I'm going to stick them in my book. So they're going in my book as well. Boop, there you go. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. I think we all suffer from this problem where we feel we can't throw things out, but it's not so much that I feel I can't throw things out. I don't really have as much of an issue with it as I used to have. I can be quite bold with myself these days, but some things are just too good to throw out, and you want to make sure you can get good use out of them. Just bear in a second. I want to see how long I've got in this camera. I'm at 27 minutes, so it's due to pack up in a minute. It only lasts 30 minutes and then the phone cuts out. And again, my husband said, I was complaining about this the other day, and my husband says to me, buy another camera. And I felt like saying, you so glibly say that, where do you think the money's coming from? Right, that's that. Now, wait a minute, I want to find my letters that I cut out, because remember I cut out pieces. So we're going to start, and I'm going to put the P down the bottom there. I need to be very careful when I put in the glue, because of what I don't want to do, with this being, what do you call it, metallic card, you can really easily mark it and ruin it, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to put that P there, and I am going to get out one of my stamping blocks and sit that on it for a minute to give it a chance to dry. And I'm also going to stop the camera and restart it, and that way I don't need to worry. I've got another 30 minutes. I'm back. Oh, see that was the sigh of despair, and I jest not. My brother's just told me there's a poo at the back of the garden. It's a chip poo. I know, because I know where everybody does their toilets. Including my husband. No, but you know, that way there's just everything to deal with, everything. Right, I'm going to put in a wee bit of at my vintage photo. My jigsaw puzzle piece that I cut yesterday. Tell you, you couldn't make a journal big enough for me to write in what happens to me. Not that it's ever anything worthy of note. It's just 9 times out of 10 it's just stress, stress, stress. In fact, I should have had a look at my phone there, because I'll guarantee there's been a text from my husband, and because I've turned it down I can't hear it. I'll hold that down with my stamping block. Now I better watch, because what I don't want to do here is I don't want to misspell the word pieces. Did you know that in Scotland a piece, P-I-A-C-E, is a sandwich? And when you go to work you take your pieces, your sandwiches, for your packed lunch. This is erupting a la Fabri-Tac. I haven't thought, and I genuinely always leave it to the last minute. Tuck spots. Never think of them. Never. They're done as a last minute thing. I don't know why. I think I just don't find them very interesting, so I don't tackle them early on. So I'll need to think about that as I go along, but I'm not doing that today, because this is taking enough time. That here's another one of those Georgia Blues cards, but I just live for the moments you can't put into words. Oh, I think I can put in plenty of words, believe you me. I just cut that out with a circular die, and you can journal in the back, so that will just be used as a wee bit of ephemera once I've come up with a tuck spot, because it's actually quite big in terms of the book. We'll see what we come up with. Right, that will do. Now I've got these fabric women. I'm going to be gluing them in, and I don't know. See with these. See, the only thing that worries me is I think what I'm going to have to do is use Fabri-Tac and spread it out a wee bit, because I don't want it to be dead thick. So I'm going to use my finger, and my finger's going to get all gloopy, and I'm going to get really annoyed because I've got a gloopy finger. Right, hold on to a wipe and a wee baby wipe. But I think it's the easiest way of trying to get this to adhere without getting it all buckled. It might not be stuck down, well, I mean, it'll be stuck down well enough that there's absolutely no way it'll come off, but the likes of here in the corners, I'm not taking care of that, so we'll add a wee bit of Fabri-Tac there. That'll do us. Timmy, what are you doing, darling? He's rolling about in his back. Right, lid on the glue, lid on the glue. See my frame that I cut? I'm going to have to come up with a plan of how to use my frame, because it's actually, well, it's quite a good size for those photographs, but I'll need to put it in the book sideways if I did that. So maybe I need to think about that. See the likes of this? Remember I cut this yesterday? This could be used as a tuck spot. So I think what we might do is we might use it there. Just putting the glue on it, and that can go in there. and I'm going to use wee itty bitty pegs to hold it and wee clips to let it give it enough time to dry and stick to the book. That's what you do. That is what you do. Have I got any other? Oh, do I have another wee clip? There we go. That's that. See, I've got wee bits of lace and things that I can add to the book. In fact, that might look quite nice there. Right, I'll put a bit of Fabri-Tac on this, and we'll hope that in the action of putting it on top of the picture it doesn't in any way alter the picture. Right, that's us. I am, before that glue erupts, hold on, in fact, wait a minute, we'll wipe the top of this and we'll put the lid on. Right, before we go any further, I'm going to stop the video for the day, and that will need to do is, I think, because if I do any more, all that's going to happen is, I really would prefer to let things like the glue on this page dry before I tackle anything else. So I think what we'll do is we'll stop the video and I'll come back tomorrow and we'll finish where we're sticking in, and we'll do some more tuck spots, and then all that will be left is decorating the front of the book. Just having a look to see if there's anything. Wait a minute. I'm going to add this as well. I don't want to use a phenomenal amount of Fabri-Tac because I don't think there's any need really. I think in theory it should stick okay. I just need to add enough to do its duty. Probably got it all over my desk. Just going to stick that on top of that. I think that's my husband. Right, I'll call it quits and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Sorry for all the interruptions, sorry for my horrible mood, but it's been a kind of tense day. So, see you tomorrow, bye.